What's up, YouTube world? Welcome back to my channel, Chopping Up Game with Machete Marie. This episode is going to be about weather control. It was a topic that was highly requested because of a snowstorm that just ravaged the area. I was screaming, that it's fake. When I mean fake, I mean like genetically modified. I mean like man-made. And a lot of people laugh at me and be like, oh, she's crazy. Her conspiracies be off the wall. Well, first and foremost, let me tell you something. These are not really conspiracies. These are truths. I'm just going to say it again for the people in the back. I have to say conspiracies because all of these topics are highly controversial. But I come with facts. I come with receipts. I'm not going to talk about something that I can't prove to you guys. That's a weather map from the area. I want you to take a look at that because keep that image in your mind for when I'm about to show you coming up here. Some interesting stuff. This is going to be a documentary from Weather Wars. And we're going to check out a quick scene and then we'll talk about it. So what you're looking at now is the HAARP machine. The HAARP machine was a very well-known machine that was, rumored to be controlling the weather. It was up in Alaska, but as you see here, that HAARP facility is outdated. It's almost 20 years old. They stepped their game up. They're on to newer and better things. Now they're using these things called NexRad towers, different cell phone towers. But what you're seeing is a NexRad tower right there. These towers are placed strategically over the map. There go another one out in the middle of the water. You see it there, and another one's hanging out up there. So also behind the NexRad tower, peep them chemtrails in the back. We're gonna be talking about them in a minute here. So the next thing he's showing you is a map. For years, people have been documenting radar anomalies that show massive energy events and correlating them between extreme weather. Those shapes you're seeing are definitely not natural shapes that you would typically see in a weather pattern. I mean, look at that right there. That's crazy. That look like somebody dropped a pebble in the ocean. It's rippling. So look at those shapes. Check that out. And check out where they're at too, though. That's the crazy part. Check out where a lot of these events are at. Look at the map. Do you see where you live? Do you see your part of town? All right, you guys, so I need you to stay with me. I'm going to do it like Blue's Clues. That was your first clue. You feel me? The towers that they use to control the weather. You see it on the map. You see the energy waves. You see it. I'm going to just break it down a little bit more. I'm not... So you know me, I ain't gonna present it if it don't come with facts, if it don't come with receipts. So let's look at this map again. The yellow pins is where these NexRad towers are on the map. And I'm gonna show you a picture of the map here in a minute. But the yellow pins, the energy waves right by the yellow pins, I mean, what more proof do you need? Right? All right, you guys, so here's the map I promised to show you of where the NexRad towers are at, spread across the United States very strategically. This map is, again, proof backing up what I just showed you, that the government is controlling the weather. But that's only clue number one. I want you to stay tuned. We got clue number two. Let's talk about these chemtrails, baby, aka they like to call it cloud seeding.
When you introduce silver iodide crystals into a thunderstorm, a young thunderstorm, more of the cloud water will be converted into tiny snowflakes, which will then attract more cloud water to form raindrops. In the 6 areas of Texas where we have been doing cloud seeding, we have had a number of occasions to seed them even in this extremely hot and exceptionally dry summer.
This summer?
This summer.
You succeeded in increasing rainfall?
South of San Antonio, we had aircraft flying on a dozen days in the month of July, treating what we deemed to be seedable storms.
And what was the result of that?
The same result that we've seen since it started in 1997.
Facts, baby. Facts. I know you heard them. I know you heard him say he was increasing rainfall by the use of jets that were spraying in the air. Come on, man, wake up. Go outside and smell the chemtrails, baby. But nah, this shit is really real, and I just try to get you guys to see it with a little bit of humor because it can get really deep. So I need you to check this out.
There's no question that large-scale climate engineering is untested and dangerous. Nevertheless, there might be some good reasons to think about aluminum. The little picture is from a nanofabrication study, which shows you can make very high quality and do this in just a jet in a very simple way. Make high quality aluminum particles just by spraying aluminum vapor up. Certainly in principle possible to do that. There's a big literature that's already looked at.
All right, you guys, so there you go. Clue number 2, them chemtrails. You know me, I love to show you the correlation between the movies and what they do. That last clip just said control the weather, you can control the world. So I'm all leading you into what the bigger picture of this is, because a lot of people be like, why would they control the weather? What do they benefit from controlling the weather? Well, you're about to really see. I'm about to really break it down for you. Let me just be clear. Global warming was one of the biggest schemes and scams ever created. Global warming is just another way to say we need population control. Population control.
When you look at airborne environmental samples and the soil and water samples that people have collected throughout the country, you get 3 types of materials: metallic salts, filaments or fibers, and engineered biologicals. Metallic salts are oxides. Aluminum, titanium, barium are 3 examples. And it appears now that the air around us has been filled with these metallic oxides, which are conductive particles. So the air is no longer neutral. Air is supposed to be neutral to support life. It is not supposed to be charged. The air around us is also filled with fibers. Last year, scientists began to discuss something called SAG, stratospheric aerosol geoengineering, which was supposedly spraying soot and sulfates in the atmosphere to form a shield against the heat of the sun. This presumes the notion of man-made warming, the idea being that atmospheric science can rescue us from climate change, which is nature's retaliation against us for creating global warming.
Okay, so you guys heard her. The air is no longer neutral. The air has heavy metals and arsenic in the air. There's energy that flows through me. There's energy that flows through you. Depending upon what level you vibrate on, you can feel different energies, right? I mean, let's just say some is more open than others. What they're doing, though, is by putting this stuff in the air, it's allowing them the ability to control us on a scale beyond imaginable. Stick with me, y'all.
Additionally, the samples collected by Mr. Carnicom showed what he calls, and what's called in biology, desiccated erythrocytes. This is a multisyllabic term, but it means dried red blood cells. So, why these were in the air? Why are dried red blood cells in the air? Very puzzling. A medical microscopist, a biologist specializing in microscopy, confirmed to him that they were human red blood cells, but that they had been engineered in some way so as to be preserved. So again, you have to ask yourself, if I were 5 years old, I would say, Mommy, what are red blood cells doing falling out of the sky? Biology divides life into 3 kingdoms: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. Bacteria and archaea are simple organisms with no subcellular compartments. Eukarya are complex with defined cell compartments and internal organelles, mini organs like mitochondria that make DNA and energy for the cell. Plants, animals, and humans are eukaryotic, as are fungi and slime molds. The archaea are the hardiest of the life forms. They're able to withstand grinding pressure, heat, acidity, and alkalinity. They can live in volcanoes, geysers, and the ice shelf. Bacteria, on the other hand, will die in extreme heat and cold, which is why we cook and freeze our food. Now, the materials appearing within these filaments are as tough as archaea. They look like bacteria, and they self-replicate. One looks like something called mycoplasma, but is not. One looks like chlamydia, but is not. And natural fibers or filaments would be classified as fungal in the domain of eukaryotes. But these fibers contain forms from the other two groups inside them. You're looking at a tubular fiber with self-replicating internal elements resembling bacteria and behaving like archaea. That does not happen in the natural world. So what are they? What's going on? It appears that within our bodies we now have all three life kingdoms replicating themselves. What does that make us? Are we still eukaryotes, or are we becoming something else? You could call this transbiology, a crossing of biology, the creation of hybrid forms. Materials are forming in our bodies that are not native to us, not natural, and entirely new. You can see in these pictures the tubular filaments with the branches. They're branching off. That's their self-replication. They're creating new colonies. And you can also see in the bottom picture a little bud. That's the beginning of a new fiber. The territory of things on the scale of atoms and molecules is the nano world. Science has opened up the nano universe, where incredible new creations are possible. Nanotechnology explores materials that are less than a micron in size, or from 1 to 100 nanometers. And a nanometer is a billionth, 1/1000th of a meter. Nature and biology continually work on the nanoscale, assembling proteins and building with crystals to conduct the business of life. Spider webs are an example of that. Very fine filaments with enormous strength and flexibility because they contain nanoscale crystals. So let's go back to the...
Listen, y'all, I want you to understand something. She just said there's red blood cells in the air. So, why? Why the fuck would there be red blood cells in the air that we breathe? And I'm going to put it to you in a different way because, listen, I would keep it 100 with you. I'm a high school dropout. You know, I got a GED. I don't have no college degree, but I understand this shit clear as day. So, remember back in the day when you used to have to plug your iPhone into the computer to get it to update? You feel me? Look at my last video. Stop, pause. If you haven't looked at my last video about cloning, you need to check that out. But you used to have to, plug it in to download it. By them putting these type of particles and these type of energies into the atmosphere, these motherfuckers is able to upgrade you via Wi-Fi. They're able to downgrade you via Wi-Fi. You hear what I'm saying, though? They don't have to plug into you. No, baby. It's in the technology. So it's in your blood. It's in the smart devices that we use. And I'm going to just tell you, when I research some of this stuff, I'm learning as I go. And some of this stuff, it really does, honestly, it fucks with me because it's heavy. I'm going to keep it 100. It's heavy. After you get done watching my videos, you're going to question a lot about reality. But the fact of the matter is they're pushing a transhumanist agenda because we are already transhumans. What the fuck? You just heard her. You just heard her. And I had to edit some of this out because it's a long documentary, but you could watch it. It's called Weather Wars. I edited some of it out, but there's 3 new types of DNA. And she broke it down in the video as well. She breaks down the different fibers and shit and how they're using all that to alter us remotely. So I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of riled up because, like I said, this shit is crazy. But I'm going to have to wrap the video up. I am on a time limit. If you want to see a part 2, I need to see you like, comment, and subscribe. Give me some action. Give me some feedback. Talk to me. How do you really feel about this shit?